so you're going to get the freshest soup possible. If you ever had like broccoli cheddar soup or something like that, it's been sitting on the buffet line for a little bit, you know what I mean, that broccoli florets really turn kind of mushy, kind of fall apart, and all of a sudden that cream of broccoli soup just kind of turns nasty on you. The Madrona Market brand doesn't do that because those broccoli florets have never been pre-cooked. So the first time you cook the soup is actually the first time the vegetables have been cooked in that soup. And that's all the vegetable soup. There's a lot of other soups that you'll soon see. But today we're talking about specifically, we got 5 Madrona Market brand soups here. We're going to talk in one chili. And we're just going to kind of go over that and the different applications with it. First, all the Madrona Market soups are water added at some point. Most of them are 2 quarts, chili is a pint. Some you can add milk to them and things like that to make it work. They're all cooked from frozen, which is definitely nice. You're going to be running into operators that say, oh, I cook all my soup from scratch. I use my extra ingredients and I don't want to look anything like this. Okay? The benefit of something like this to that question basically is, well, if you're really busy one night and you run out of soup, you know, I've been there, the service staff doesn't have soup for half an hour or 45 minutes, and they're telling their customers, hey, sorry, you know, we're making more soup back there. Something like this, even just on hand, is really nice because you put it in the pot from frozen, add your water, and it's done. Okay. Also, the benefit of adding water to it is there's a lot of different things you can do with the soup. Okay. So if you think of, you know, almost any ingredient as an ingredient as opposed to a finished product, there's a lot more applications you can get with the operators about. For example, instead of adding water, add something else to it. Sid made with the Wisconsin cheese soup, instead of adding water, he added half the amount of water and added beer to it. So there's your beer cheese soup. So there's a lot of different applications just with that. You can add less water, add maybe 1 quart of cream instead of the 2 quarts of water, add some cheese, extra cheese to it, thicken it up, and now you have a cheese sauce or a fondue or something like that. So these are bases to it. Yankee pot roll soup, for example, which we'll look at here in a minute, same thing. Add less water to it, now you have a stew, or now you have a stuffing. Sid also made a great biscuit stuffed with the stew, like a pot pie. Okay, the chicken pot pie soup, same thing, can be used as a filling instead of just a soup. There's also a lot of different soups, and your imagination can run wild. Get your operator thinking about it, get them kind of the wheels turning in their heads. There's a spinach artichoke. Well, same thing. Add cream, now you have dip. You have your dip. You can do chicken wild rice dips. You can do, I mean, it's really a possibility to endless on it. So there's a lot of great things that you can do with these soups as well.
You can take and add 2 soups together and come up with a different soup. So you have an operator that has used a soup and uses another soup, well, he's got it in his fridge, mix them together, you come up with a 3rd soup. You're only using 2 parts.
Yeah, there's really a lot going on with this. Now, the other thing, with, like I said, these ingredients have never been cooked before, it's going to hold up a lot better, like you mentioned, on steam wells and things like that. So when you do use these as ingredients in different applications, it's going to hold up a lot better. Clam chowder soup, the New England clam chowder from Madrona Market, all of these soups are really hold up really well. You almost can't mess them up. And I know this firsthand. Like the New England clam chowder, I've left it on the stove, took a phone call, forgot about it, and it's boiling over. Okay, the other day. Well, I thought for sure it's scorched. You know, I worked in the restaurant business for a long time. Alfredo sauces, cream-based soups, all that. If it burns and it boils over, you got to throw the whole thing away. It's scorched. Surprisingly, you don't get that with this because you're adding the water to it, and you just get a nice creamy soup to it. And you'll have all of an opportunity to try it and see what you think on it. But a lot of great soups under the Madrona Market brand, a lot of great soups in general. But here is just kind of a list, current list of what is stocked with FSA in Norpac, both Madrona Market brand as well as some flavor pack vegetables and things like that. But again, guys, this is really the time of year to really be out sampling soups. There's a lot of different ways that you go and sample soups. A lot of times, well, how do I sample soups? You know, I'm on the road all day. How do you sample them? The best way that we found, we have nice little containers at the office, and you're more than welcome to some if you want. But basically, you make up the soup, lay them in these little microwavable containers, put them in your cooler, right in the operator, microwave them, and they're good to go. I said again, I keep mentioning it, but if you take one thing away, these ingredients aren't pre-cooked. So that's really what if you take one thing away today, that's what you take away. Heating it up, cooking it, put it in a container, throw it in the microwave for a couple minutes, you're not going to ruin the integrity of that soup one bit. So that's a great way to sample it as well. I heard an interesting fact the other day too. You know, if you're talking to your operators, well, you know, soups are just not selling too much soups. They don't sell too much soups. A lot of times, operators have soup or salad choice. You know what I mean? They have one or the other. But in fact, this time of year especially, if you add 2 soups to your menu instead of the one, and you add a cream-based and then a broth-based soup, the statistics say that you're going to sell 30% more soup that way. You know, a lot of times if you've been to a restaurant or been eating with somebody and they say, well, what's your soup today? And they tell you, New England clam chowder, salad. But if you say that in chicken noodle, you're going to get 30% more sales that way. And the profits of soup are fantastic. Right now, you know, upon average of these soups, you're looking at about 8 cents an ounce to the operator, somewhere in there. Now, every soup is different, of course, but you'll see when you come up and taste them as well. But chicken wild rice, things like that, you know, they're really thick soup too when you make according to the directions. You know, we always add a little more milk, a little more, so you're getting more out of that as well. So really, the key points to take away, ingredients are not pre-cooked. The quality of it is better. If you taught an opera, I make my own. These are from scratch. These are fresh vegetables. These are fresh ingredients. So that's going to be the closest you have out there for that too. And when you're tasting, you're going to be like, I can't believe I did something I had to want to. Soups we're talking about today. We have the Wisconsin cheddar soup. Again, so that water you can kind of see, you know, thickness to it all. The great pieces. This is actually we're coming down this morning making it. The big pieces of celery and everything, all the vegetables in there, it's amazing. This is a great soup. One of the most versatile soups, of course, you know, adding the beer to it, adding any type of beer to it. I made beer cheese soup for years, having a base like this, and still making it your own with your own ingredients to it. Really is nice for your operator. Home-style chicken noodle soup. And we didn't take out any liquid or anything to kind of trick you guys, showing you all this stuff that's in the soup. This is just right out of the pot, right in the bag. But it's just really good pieces, and like I said, those carrots and stuff, it's not going to be mushy enough. It's going to be really good quality on that. The chili, now this is one that you add a limited amount of water to, about a pint per bag to it, okay? So the yield on it is not going to be as much as the soups. Okay, you're looking at probably around that 14 cents an ounce mark, somewhere in there. But you can see, I mean, it's just great looking chili. And you can kind of look at it, you can almost add more water to your operators, can get more out of this. Now, tasting this chili, you're going to notice it might be a little bland for a lot of people to taste. You know, a lot of people have chilies every different way. You know, chili is a signature dish out there. Everyone's, oh, my chili is the best. I'm not touching. Don't touch my chili. I don't want to do it. This is designed so it has that bland flavor to it. Not bland, I shouldn't say bland. It has a light flavor to it, so you can really spice it up yourself. You can make it your own, make it your signature chili. Do different things. Add cayenne, add the chili powder, add your secret ingredients, things like that to it. So you're going to notice that when you taste the chili. But again, vegetables in there. It's just a great looking chili. It does really look homemade. Which chili is it? This is the Grande. Yes, the Majorla Market Grande. Yep, absolutely. One of my favorites is the new favorites is the Yankee pot roast soup. It's just got pot roast in it, lots of vegetables, onions, carrots, potatoes. Just a really good soup. This one has been really versatile in our office too, making different stews, making thicker stuffings, that kind of stuff to it. Great soup. And then the New England clam chowder here. Again, a lot of good pieces of clam and everything else in there. So really good information there. If you don't mind here. This book I'm going to give you. Now, you don't really pay attention to. This talks about all the different soups that Nortec does have, from the concentrate to the single strength of oil and bags and things like that. But, you know, really focusing on the Majorla Market brand, because when it comes to price point, when it comes to getting on your operation, the sales advantage you have out there, that's really going to be your advantage. But it's really interesting because in the front of this book, it's a really great piece of information. And it talks about soup sales across the nation. It talks about the Midwest soup sales, what percentage of people are buying the soups, things of that nature. And then as you get in there, well, I guess in the Midwest, what do you think the most popular soups are? Chicken wild rice, yep, absolutely. Chicken noodle. Vegetable beef, and cheese soup. You guys know, broccoli cheese is on that list too. But it's kind of cool because it talks about the different regions. If you have an operator that wants to do something at a theme night or something like that, there's just some fun information there as well. Does talk a little bit about the pricing on this per ounce, your operators. But again, use the information, check it out yourself, see what your per ounce, your own per ounce price is, because you will be around that 80 cents an ounce on that.
This gives you some great ideas as well, guys, in here for recipes, mixing soups. I mean, use it as a great guide to help you out when you're selling some product.
The other thing too, if you're looking at this list of soups here, when you look at everything on the Soup Supreme, and the Madrona Market brand is going to match it the best with this. This is a good tool because it tells you what's vegetarian and what's gluten-free as well. Okay. There is another piece of information up here if you want. Here, it does talk about the Soup Supreme and what's low sodium, what's no MSG, what's low fat, things like that. But that's a great one. A lot of gluten-free places out there. A lot of, it seems like every day more and more people are saying they're gluten-free or are gluten-free. So a lot of operations are being safe. They're playing it safe on that. So it's a really good piece of information. There is, just real quick, we'll touch real briefly, there is an equipment program out there. Okay, it's kind of a case-by-case basis. If you are interested, if you have an operator that wants to go through some soup and is looking at some soup kettles and marketing materials and things like that, get with Sid or I, get with Rick Wayne, anybody in our office will help you with that. So if you have any questions on that program. There's great rebates when it comes to Madrona Market and NORPAC. This is what, and these can be used for every operator. These go, I think, every 3 months. Every 3 months, a new coupon comes out. This one is $5 a case up to $250. Madrona Market is on this one. Okay. Now this expired. It starts November 1st to January 31st. This is a great piece of information. Again, this is the best time of year to go out and make those soup calls. There is a lot more. There's also the vegetables, NORPAC vegetables. There's a chili. NORPAC is great at this. If you have an operator, we have an operator that every 3 months maxes this out. So this is something that you can always keep in your box, always keep when the new one comes out, and things like that. So that's that information there. Any questions about the soups? Any questions about NORPAC?
On the clam chowders, is the only difference between the two just the bacon? Is it the same soup in both of them except for the bacon and the wings?
Yes, yeah. The Boston has, I believe, the bacon and the
Or the Boston has bacon?
Yeah, and the New England doesn't. Yes.
Okay. But otherwise, it's the same.
Yeah, there's a little different. I found that kind of funny too when I was looking at it, because you got Boston and New England, pretty cool. What is the difference? But
yeah,
you're right, that is the one difference for
They
Striving.
both have pollen, right?
What's that?
They both have pollen.
I don't think so, clam. I think it's real clam.
Yeah, how one of them has pollen.
I could be wrong. I should
People
say.
always asking me about, they're thinking, well, it should be Manhattan. They're thinking the tomato base, so we don't have the tomato on it.
No.
Yeah, they're thinking the Boston should be the tomato on it. It's like, no.
Yeah, it's cream too. It's a good question. I don't want to say for sure, but what we can do is we can definitely get an email out, saying what the difference is on it. So, absolutely. If they like this clam chowder, want something a little differently, we'll definitely find out for sure. Sorry, I just don't want to make anything up. Any other questions that I might be able to answer? Perfect. Guys, really, I know you probably just ate and know there's a lot of food today, but really come up and at least pick a couple soups to try. These are made precisely while the directions read.